Great risings. This is my first rise, but I won't take inventory. Let's get to it. I'm Queen, and I'm navigating through mental health and other obstacles that might come my way. Today's AM Reflections and AM Rise. I am not receiving the shame. That's what we're going to talk about today. This AM Rise, I woke up uncomfortable. I could feel something old trying to come back online. Not necessarily the old Queen, but the old mindset, the old reflexes, my old feelings that know exactly where to find me when I'm a little vulnerable. And this AM Rise, I think I'm trying to be angry. Maybe because anger feels easier than hurt. Because underneath the anger is something much more tender, rejection. The preacher situation is still sitting in my heart. Not because I need an institution or that institution. And it's not because I need somebody to validate my relationship with Spirit and my Creator and the universe and my higher self. It is because I gave loyalty. It's because I showed up, I was dedicated, and I tried. I participated. I believed in community. And when I needed some measure of that same human consideration, in return I was met with silence, chastisement, but not personal outreach. And this is a pattern that has followed me since I was a child, into my teenage, into my young adult, and into my adulthood. Hence the reason I quit fucking with churches. That part, that no personal outreach, not seeing me and not communicating with me, and it's been 2 years minimum that I have experienced this. And that part hurts, especially when the institution prides itself on fucking community outreach. So, what about the member outreach part of it? I think it's just community outreach and not the member outreach. And what about Queen's outreach? What about checking on a person who has been sitting in your pews? What about giving her time? What about giving her energy and your loyalty and to her heart? What about asking a simple question? Queen, what's wrong? Are you okay? What's going on with you? Nobody did that. You don't give a damn. That's apparent. The silence and the rejection, you can call it whatever you want to from your pulpit, from the comforts of your security of your witch's brew. I don't care. I think that is what's really sitting in my chest this morning, is the fact that you all are just sitting there looking and doing nothing. Well, that isn't simply church. It's a feeling of having mattered until I become inconvenient for you. Sundays makes it louder because Sundays used to mean something to me. It was dedication. It was dedicated. I was involved, expectant, looking forward to being there. And now on Sunday AM Rise, I can feel myself standing right back at the edge of the old place, that place where I strongly dislike church, where I feel rejection and the institution that I have already learned I don't need in order to know who the hell I am. I grew up in that with my mother. And I'm writing my book, the second part of Queen's Black Sheep's Confessions, the trilogy. I've already completed the first volume, Daddy. Now we getting into the meat and the heart of the things, Mother. And this takes me right back there. Now, if I had to remind myself, which I do often, Queen, you are not too grown. You are too grown to surrender your peace to an institution of rejection. You have been through this before. I know what happens when I allow somebody else's judgment to become my identity. I start carrying shame that was never mine, guilt that was never mine, regret that was never mine. And eventually I start questioning whether simply being myself was the sin in the first place. So no, I ain't going to do that today. And I'm not entering this day carrying somebody else's interpretation of me. I'm not receiving the shame. I'm not receiving none of your damn guilt. And I'm not receiving any regrets. And I'm damn sure not about to receive the idea that Queen is something that has to be apologized for. I ain't doing it. I'm taking my power back, not by fighting anybody, because I'm tired. Not by proving anything, because I'm tired. Not by running back into the room that has already shown me what you think about me. I'm tired. I take back my power by creating today. I take these feelings and I'm going to transmute them. I'm going to begin my alchemy. I'm going to be doing alchemy all day. I'm going to put them into my poetry. I'm going to put them into my writing. And I'm going to put them into my stories. I'm going to put them into the text and to the next part of my book. Because if they thought they could silence me by withholding your voices and your concern for me, then you don't know who I am. I write, and I'm going to write today. I'm going to write today. I'm going to write today. And these stories are waiting for me. These are my memories waiting for me. These are my things that happened to the little girl, the young woman, that grown woman, that queen, that deserves to be told in my own voice. Today I want to tell the story about the church and my mother. I'm going to work on that because I think I can transmute some of this pain that I'm dealing with. And yes, eventually I'm going to circle back around to this shit too. The stories that I'm going to write, you will have to wait and see what they are. But all this shit brings it back. All of it brings it back. So, this AM, I'm not going to resurrect the version of myself that learned to live inside of rejection. I'm going to honor the woman who learned to survive it. I'm going to take inventory without judgment, and I can say I'm uncomfortable, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I feel rejected, and I still say I am safe, I'm here, I'm creating. I am not going backwards. My personal life is in order. And my heart has love in it. I got to tuck my baby. Never mind. That's none of your business. But anyway, I am not going to manufacture a crisis where there isn't one. I can wake up angry and still be okay. I can have an uncomfortable AM rise and still choose what happens next. And what happens next is creation. And that's why I'm going to write and tell my stories with the greatest confidence ever. So I refuse to carry the shame that does not belong to me. Today I'm going to let Queen speak. I'm going to turn her words, her wounds into words. And I'm not receiving that bullshit today. I'm not carrying. I refuse to carry this shame. It don't belong to me. Today I'm taking back my power. Today we're going to write. Y'all have a